Hello, my name's Danny Hopkins and I'm editor of Practical Classics magazine, and I'm here in the Practical Classics workshop today to talk about tea, how to make the perfect cup of workshop tea. I've got with me Matt Tompkins, who's our projects manager. Now Matt, you've been drinking tea for how long?
Oh, fair few years now.
Fair few years, so at least 7 or 8 years. I've been actually making tea for around 35 years, so I think I'm pretty qualified to teach this course. Matt, I need you to taste the tea at the end of this particular course.
Sure.
So if you want to go off to the decontamination chamber. What I want to do with you is take you over to the tea station to take you through the various processes and methods involved in making the perfect cup of workshop tea. Right, so here we are at the Practical Classics tea station. Before we start, actually, it's worth mentioning that we're going to be just working on basic bag making tea. We're not going to be talking about teapots, loose leaf tea, that kind of thing. That's going to be covered in a later class. That's going to be covered in intermediate tea making. What we are going to cover here is simple bag making tea for the workshop. And to do that, we've got 4 mugs. I'll explain why we've got 4 mugs a bit later. And before I do that, I'm going to take us through the basic kit. So, in the Practical Classics workshop, we've got our kettle, which is a Morphy Richards 2120. Loads of other kettles available, not really got any preference, but electric on its little plinth there. We have digestives. We've got, at the moment, we've got McVitie's chocolate digestives. Other digestives are available, chocolate or not. Semi-skim milk. I don't know why we use semi-skim milk. I think it's because it's the most common milk you can buy in the shops these days. I actually like a full-fat milk. It gives the tea more body, I think. But anyway, semi-skim milk, somebody else bought that. We've got the workshop teaspoon, never been washed, obviously. It lose all its character if you did. And of course, the actual workshop station itself, it's not ever really been cleaned. Again, it's more of a badge of honour to make your tea in a kind of sort of healthy, dirty environment, builds up immunity, that kind of thing. Our cups, got 4 cups. These again have been kind of loosely swilled out. They're still a bit stained on the inside. Again, you don't want to spend too much time washing tea cups because it takes away from drinking time. Over here we've got our tea bags. This is PG Tips. We've got the triangular bags here. Again, lots of arguments about triangular bags. I prefer a flat bag myself, but again, it's a bit of a gimmick, but we don't really mind. Sugar. A lot of this is kind of solidified. We've put wet spoons in, and you can use those solid bits as lumps, actually, quite useful. And also, we've got some Canderel sweetener. Really? So, without further ado, I think the next thing we need to do is get some water in the kettle. I'll just ask Matt to come in. Matt, would you go and put some water in there, please? Thank you. Let me just wait for the water again. You take your time. Right, okay, so we've got water in the kettle now. I'm going to stick that on the plinth, and exciting moment, we're going to flick the switch. There we go. And as you can see, the lights now come on. That means that the electricity is flowing into the filament in the kettle and the water is being heated. Probably take about 2 or 3 minutes. And while that's happening, I'm going to explain to you why we've got 4 mugs here, not just 1. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some different methods of tea making, because there's a lot of argument about tea making. We're going to do 2 of the cups are going to be milk first, 2 of the cups are going to be water first. And out of those 2, 1 each is going to be done with the bag squeeze method, and the other one we're going to allow the tea bag to actually brew. Okay, so that we're going to do 1 squeeze, 1 brew, 1 milk first, 1 water first. Okay, and that's simply the way we're going to do it. So we're going to get the milk here. Skim milk, a little bit in the bottom of 2 of them. Again, some people say that the milk first method is the best one, because what it does, it takes the tannin out of the tea bag before the hot water goes in. It means you don't get that little film on the surface. I'm not quite sure that's true, but still probably some science behind that. And the other 2, of course, you notice we've not got any milk in, because we're going to be putting the water in first with them. Now, the ceremonial moment of truth, the placing of the bag into the mug. I'm just going to do one bag each. Again, I do know some people prefer 2 bags, but I don't know, the double bag method for me, it's just overkill. You don't need that much tea. And actually, if you make it properly, you really don't need that much tea. So we've now got a bag in each mug. 2 of the mugs got milk in already. 2 of the mugs haven't got milk in. We've got our spoon ready to squeeze. And again, really useful for squeezing spoons, because I'm going to do this before we get the water in. You notice the spoon's got a curved back and the inside of the mug is curved. That means you can actually squeeze the bag against the inside of the mug, and it's a perfect fit. So it's really get a really good closure around the whole bag surface area with the back of the spoon. Some people do it with the front of the spoon, but you don't actually have the same kind of squeezing effect, but you do get more water circulation. Again, I just think that's foolish. Using the back of the spoon is where it's at for me, and I'll be demonstrating that in just a second when the kettle's boiled. As you can hear, you can know the kettle's on because you can hear it. And it does get louder as the boiling point gets closer. What you can hear is not actually the filament making a noise, it's actually the water making a noise as it kind of bubbles around inside the kettle. Get a sense of anticipation, people you're making the tea for, often quite an emotional time. Sometimes you feel like the kettle itself is about to boil and it's really not doing it yet. I think we're getting close now though. Oh, there it goes, right, brilliant. Okay, so kettle's boiled, nice and hot. We're going to pour it in to the water first mugs first. Again, I like to pour from a little way above the mug. It just has a bit more impact, a little bit more sense of danger. And here we are, the other 2 with the milk first. So, water has been deployed. Spoon. This is the most dangerous part of the operation, so do be careful. That's very hot water in there. We've got to be extremely careful while squeezing the bag. I squeeze towards myself because it makes me do it more carefully, but you can squeeze away. So I'm squeezing towards. Just doing it first, just getting the first round of squeezing away. Those 2 mugs over there, one with milk in, one without, they're brewing. Okay, so we're going to ignore them for a while. This one here, I might have slightly overfilled this one with milk, but I'm squeezing away. And actually, one of the satisfying things about the milk first method is that when you squeeze the bag, you can see the tea, the tannins coming out of the bag. It slowly darkens. It's quite a satisfying process. You don't get that with the water method. So I'm just squeezing the back of that. Okay. Once you've done the squeeze, just pull it away from the edge of the cup, let it circulate around the center. Back to the first one. Again, you really do see the liquid darkening quite quickly when you use the squeeze method. And again, there is a speed benefit with it, has to be said. If you're working in a busy environment, if you've got the guys in the workshop waiting for their tea, the squeeze method is probably the best one to use. Okay. Now I think I'm getting close to completion, particularly on the water method here, because it seems to be getting into the right colour. You notice on the other 2, not a lot of change in the milk one, still looks like milk. The water one slowly getting darker, but nothing dramatic. These guys, wow, they're ready. Okay, I'm just going to dump the bags on the side again. Tradition, dump the bag on the side, it means the other guys can clear it up, because you're making the tea, fair enough, isn't it really? Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of milk into the first one, the one with the water. When Matt comes back in, I'm going to ask him to taste. Of course, Matt, being a youngster, takes 8 sugars, so I'm going to have to fill out. Again, I'm not a sugar person, so I'm not going to have any. But Matt is going to be tasting, so I'm just going to do. And another one. To always get the number right, because Matt will notice. He's got a very sweet tooth. There. Okay. So those two are ready for Matt to taste. I'm not going to ask him to come in quite yet. I just need to move them over here to the tasting area. So there's one there. That one that I've just taken, that's the water first. This one is the milk first, okay? So I'll put Matt to come back in to taste the first two. So milk first, which is closest to you.
Right.
Taste.
It's quite sweet.
It's quite sweet, but I know you like that. Don't make a decision yet. I think we need to make a decision right at the end, but just savour that moment. This is the water first one, okay? It's got a good nose. I know that. I know that much. Water first, it always has a good nose, but that might be because of the extra tannins that are released.
It could be. Right,
okay.
Well, I'll leave you to the others.
So we're now waiting for the tea bags in the other two to brew. Now, the question with when you're brewing, when you're using the brewing method is, do you stir or don't you stir? And I'm a stirrer. I'm going to deploy the spoon again. No squeezing. I'm going to make sure I don't squeeze. I am just simply going to stir. And as soon as I stir, you can see the tannins being released here. That both of them are now ready to drink. I think the brew method has done its job. Again, dump the bags on the side. Bit of milk in there. Again, it's a slightly different colour. It doesn't look quite as intense, quite as grey. There's a more floral, more rouge colour in a brewed one. Again, it's not here. I'm just going to and that and that. There we go. Right, give it a quick stir. And Matt's popping back now. Okay, Matt, so this is the brewed tea. So
sure.
That one there, milk first that you're drinking.
A little lighter than the other one.
It's a bit lighter, isn't it? Okay, enjoying that? Mm-hmm. And now
this was the milk in first.
That's the milk in first one with the squeeze method rather than the brew. I want to dig into here. I mean, squeeze or brew?
I'm going to say squeeze. There's more tea flavour.
Really? Okay. I always find the brew method is a more subtle flavour. It's something which you wouldn't want with a big meal, for instance.
No, it's this one's.
So for the
definitely more depth of flavour, more nuances coming through in this one, definitely.
So more of a tea hit.
Yes.
Okay. So over there, that's the water method. Over there, this is. How are you feeling with that one?
I prefer it to that one.
Okay.
It's still not quite the depth of tea flavour.
Yep.
This is the water method, wasn't it, with the squeeze?
No, sorry, that's the water method with the brew. That one. So brew water.
This is brew water.
Yeah, and that's brew milk.
I'm going to go back to this one again and say this has got the depth of flavour. It's got the colour. It's got the sweetness I like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one comes out on top for me.
So water squeeze. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. The water squeeze method has won the Workshop Tea Challenge, but of course you can use any one you like. And I think the best thing to do is to experiment with what you do yourself. Use different bags, use different methods, and come up with an own personal favourite, and then try and basically force it on all your friends. That's what I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. If you want to go back to the main menu, you'll be able to click on any of the classes that you like. And thank you very much for watching us make Workshop Tea.